How to convert overtime or time worked on a calamity day to comp time. Time in Chronos can only be converted to comp if it is overtime or time worked on a calamity day. Overtime at the employee's option can be converted to comp time. Overtime is any time worked over 40 hours per week. Leave time, such as sick, personal leave, vacation, etc., as well as holidays, do not count towards the 40 hours. Overtime in Chronos jargon can also include time as stipulated in employee contracts or agreements, which is paid at 1.5 times the regular hourly rate of pay. An example of this for some employee groups is time worked on a holiday. There are two key takeaways for this video. You can only convert overtime to comp 1.5 on days on which there is this yellow overtime flag with the red exclamation point next to it. The second key point is, you can only convert time worked on a calamity day on days in which there was a calamity day. Attempts to convert time to comp 1.0 on days other than a calamity day will not result in the conversion of that time. The rest of this video is an explanation of those 2 points. So let's take a look at this example. Here we have, for the work week of January 10th, the employee worked 8 hours each of the days except on Wednesday. They worked 2 hours over their normal schedule. If we look at their summary by day tab, shows that they worked 40 hours for the week, which they were scheduled to work. There were 40 scheduled hours, and then 2 hours of overtime. They worked 42 hours total. Note that Chronos calculates the overtime as when they broke 40 hours for the week, not on the day that they exceeded their schedule by 2 hours, which was on Wednesday. So that's why there's the yellow overtime flag on Friday, not on Wednesday. So we choose in the activity column, convert overtime to comp 1.5, and we click save. We look at the summary by day tab, and we see that the overtime has been converted to comp 1.5, and there are 2 hours in it. So the employee will get 2 hours times 1.5, that is 3 hours added to their comp time balance. Something to always check before converting an employee's overtime to comp 1.5 is to check their accrual balance and to make sure they're not nearing the limit for their comp time balance. So for classified employees, that's 40 hours, a 40-hour limit. Classified OPSI employees. And then for classified supervisors, it's 240 hours. So if converting their overtime to comp 1.5 would take them over their limit, then do not make that conversion. Simply let the overtime be paid to the employee. Now, just for the sake of experimentation to show what it would do, let's back out of this and let's do the common mistake of selecting convert overtime to comp 1.5 on the day that they exceeded their schedule, not on the day they exceeded 40 hours. We'll click save. Look at summary by day, and we'll see that it did not work. It did not make the conversion. It allowed us to enter it. It didn't throw up any roadblocks, but it didn't actually make that conversion. So we'll X out of that. We'll do it the correct way, once again, putting it where there was the overtime flag. Click save. Summary by day again. We see it's correctly back in there. So the following week, there was a holiday. The employee worked over their scheduled hours for 3 of the days and slightly under for the final day. We look in the summary by day tab. In the regular hours, they were scheduled to work 32 hours that week. It did not include the holiday. They did work that 32 hours, but they worked 4 additional hours. That is 4 hours beyond their normal schedule. And those 4 hours were accumulated Tuesday through Thursday, slightly deducted on Friday for the slight shortfall on Friday. So they worked their scheduled hours and some. But since they didn't get into overtime status, and since there wasn't a calamity day during that week, then none of that time can be converted to comp time. It's simply paid to the employee. The final example is time worked on a calamity day. Here, the employee worked 8 hours a day each day of the week. On Wednesday, there was a calamity day. They worked 8 hours that day as well. Make sure that on the calamity day that you don't select the convert to comp 1.0 on the actual line that has a time off with the calamity pay, but actually on the line that has the time worked. Select that, convert to comp 1.0, click save, and then we look at the summary by day tab, and it's successfully in the comp 1.0 bucket.